I represent a district filled with immigrants. Some are here as refugees. Some are here as citizens. Some are here without papers. But they're all my people.
Texas Representative Gene Wu's tearful plea to his colleagues to vote against the anti-sanctuary cities bill is going viral. The Chinese-American immigrant is asking for compassion for all immigrants. The bill has cleared the House and Senate and is now headed to Governor Abbott's desk next. Cities and counties could face stiff penalties over not enforcing federal immigration law. The debate over the bill is our topic this half hour. We want to hear from you on our Fox 26 Facebook page. You can also send me a tweet at Sally Mack, Fox 26. Joining us live here in the studio is our senior legal analyst, Chris Tritico. We have Democratic media consultant, Mustafa Tamiz, and Republican strategist and public policy analyst, Jackie Valley. Good morning.
Good morning.
This video is by the State Representative Gene Wu has been seen millions of times across the country. How effective is it?
Well, his speech was certainly emotional and impactful on the floor of the Texas House. It didn't do anything to stop the vote and the passage of it, and it's certainly not going to stop the governor from signing it, Jackie Valley. But it's had over 6 million views on YouTube and the other places that it's been seen. And I think, as Gene Wu said, the fact that it's been viewed that many times shows the impact that this debate is having across the country.
I know Gene very well. Clearly, he and I do not align politically, but I know that those tears were real because he truly believes in his causes. And the one thing I will say just as strongly as Gene believed that we should not enforce a law like that. We have many people who feel we should. The governor and lieutenant governor both said that sanctuary cities were going to be top of the agenda. You notice that both the House and Senate approved it much quicker than they approved other laws and other bills that they're looking at. Many residents and citizens in Texas feel that sanctuary cities should be banned. You've seen other states who have said, look, we want our local officials to comply, but this is the first time Texas is unprecedented in saying that fines and penalties will be attached if you do not comply.
How does this bill criminalizing not enforcing this federal law make us safer?
It doesn't. All major law enforcement agencies in Texas, police chiefs, sheriffs of larger urban areas, have gone and testified and said that this would make us less safe. You know, there are times where sometimes on the right, people talk to law enforcement and say, law enforcement is somebody we've got to go support. And when law enforcement comes out and tells you that this law is going to make you less safe, state representatives and members of the Senate on the Republican side want to jam this bill through. And so they're trying to do it through because of political reasons, not to make Texans safe. And we should just acknowledge that this is a political statement they're trying to make, despite what they hear from leading law enforcement agencies across this state. And it's not just making the immigrants unsafe, it makes all of us unsafe. And that's the point law enforcement trying to drive.
Let's go to Sally. She's monitoring our social media.
Check in on that right now. This first one from the State Representative Gene Wu. He tweeted out this picture of himself as a young boy. Says, this is me when I first came to the U.S., but this could be any number of nearly 2 million dreamers. They are why we fight. This one from Governor Greg Abbott says, the Texas sanctuary city ban wins final legislative approval. I'm getting my signing pen warmed up. There's no question that he's ready to sign that. Bill says illegals are not citizens, so who are they really protecting here? A lot of people weighing in on our Facebook page saying there's a big difference, obviously, between people who come here legally and illegally. And then this one from this person here, Kasim, says, like Gene Wu, I am an immigrant and my parents are immigrants. This should be deeply personal to every American.
And I want to address that one, who are they protecting, because I think that's really the heart of this. And what the police chiefs and the law enforcement community says is we can't talk to anyone because they won't talk to us if they're afraid they're going to get deported, and that's what makes us unsafe.
they're afraid they're going to get deported because they came here illegally. Usually those of us who came here legally are not afraid to speak to police officers because we know we abided by the law. We haven't committed any crimes. We haven't committed any kind of infraction against our laws coming into the country. So if you followed and obeyed our laws, you're not going to be afraid to speak to the police officers. Most of the law enforcement officers have said lack of resources is one of the reasons why it's difficult to try to enforce federal laws. That's what they were saying and testifying against. But what we need to remember is sanctuary cities is a protection of these people coming in here illegally.
I'm afraid that she begged the question, because if they won't talk to me as a law enforcement officer because they're afraid of deportation, I can't enforce the law.
Well, it goes beyond that. For example, if there was a homicide and
which is what I'm talking about,
and an undocumented person was a witness, and you know the case was contingent on that witness, well, that witness is not going to come forward, because if they did, then they would, you know, get deported, right? So if there was a car accident with two people and somebody was watching, was an undocumented person, they're not going to come out as witnesses. So, and more importantly, I think that a lot of predators then take the 11 million people, half of them or more women, and make them the subject of their target, because they will try to blackmail.
We've got less than 30 seconds. What about that aspect of it? And that's what I was trying to get to. What about that aspect of it?
The fact that the people who came here illegally are now afraid, well, guess what? You should have abided by our laws.
All right, now we're going to get a better answer than that. We're going to leave it right there. We'll be back in the next hour with two really good topics.
Okay, we'll see you all then. Thanks so much.